Hello everyone, my name is Diksha and I am from the Bodhi Academy. Today I am going to cover one of the important inorganic chemistry chapter from 12th chemistry, that is coordination compounds. Okay, so let us start with the coordination compounds. What are coordination compounds first of all? Now coordination compounds are also called as complex compounds in which metal atom are bound to a number of anions or neutral molecules by sharing of electrons. Okay, so now why we are studying this coordination compound chapter? Because there are so many coordination compounds which we come across in our day-to-day life. Okay, for example, chlorophyll is one of the important coordination compound which is used in the photosynthesis mechanism. Then hemoglobin, which is present in our blood, it is also a very important coordination compound. And vitamin B12 is also one of the coordination compound. Okay, now let us study first Werner's theory of coordination compound. Alfred Werner, who was a scientist, who was the first to formulate his ideas about the structure of coordination compounds. Okay, he took large number of coordination compounds and studied about them, their physical as well as chemical behavior, and he proposed the concept of primary valence and secondary valence. So you will come across this term, that is primary valence, secondary valence, as we go further in the chapter. So let us take one example here. Binary compounds such as CrCl3, CuCl2, they have primary valence of 3, 2 and 2 respectively. Okay, primary valence means what? See, the number of ions which are attached to the metal atom. So here there are 3 attached ions. Here there are 2 Cl minus, see there 2 Cl, so 3, 2, 2 respectively. In the series of compounds of cobalt chloride with ammonia, it was observed that it was found that some of the chloride ions could be precipitated as AgCl on adding excess silver nitrate. So we can see that 1 mole of CoCl3 6NH3 gave 3 mole of AgCl. Similarly, other compounds of the same series, where we can see they gave respective moles of AgCl, that is silver chloride. So these observations with the results of conductivity can be explained if 6 groups in either chloride or ammonia or both remain bonded to the cobalt ion during reaction, and compounds are formulated as shown in this table. So we can see in the first case where the color is yellow, CONH3, meaning NH3 6 are bonded to the cobalt and 1 Cl minus is outside the square bracket, that is it is counter ion. Similarly, in second case, 1 Cl is taken inside, 2 Cl are outside along with NH3 5. In third case, NH3 are 4 and 2 Cl are inside. Okay, similarly here we can see. So in this, from this theory, what we conclude here, or what are the postulates, that in coordination compounds metals show two type of linkages, that is primary and secondary. Primary valences are normally ionizable. Primary valences means what? Let us take this example, first one. Okay, so if you consider the first example here, this one, then whatever there in the square bracket will ionize separately and this will ionize separately, Cl will ionize separately and this. So this acts as a one ion, this acts as another ion. Okay, so this is called as primary valence. Secondary valence are non-ionizable. Secondary valence means what? Secondary valence is the ions which are there in the square bracket, that is cobalt and ammonia. So cobalt will have some charge, ammonia will have some charge, so they are the secondary valence, okay, which are non-ionizable, meaning this as a whole will make one ion, it will not ionize separately. Then ions or groups bound by the secondary linkages to the metal have characteristic spatial arrangement corresponding to different coordination number. Okay, so he further postulated octahedral, tetrahedral, square planar geometrical shapes, and which are more common in coordination compounds of this: hexaamine cobalt, pentaamine chlorido-cobalt. So these are the compounds which were having the geometry octahedral, tetrahedral and square planar. Okay, so now let us understand what is the difference between a double salt and a complex. Both the double salt as well as complex, they are formed by combination of two or more stable compounds in stoichiometric ratio. They differ in the fact that double salts such as carnallite, KCl, magnesium chloride, water, more salt. See, double salt and coordination compound, they are both very different from each other. Okay, the reason is the double salt and complexes, they form a combination of two or more stable compounds, but double salt are ionizable and complex compounds are non-ionizable, meaning if you take this complex compound having the square bracket, this is non-ionizable. Okay, but when you take double salt, they will dissociate into its respective ions. Okay, that is a main difference. Now let us see what are the definitions, important definitions in this chapter. So definitions of some important terms pertaining to coordination compound. So first of all, coordination entity. Now what is coordination entity? It constitutes a central metal atom or ion bonded to a fixed number of ions or molecules. Okay, whenever you see a formula in square bracket, okay, with this type of arrangement, it is a coordination entity, and in which central metal atom we have and it is bonded to fixed number of ions or molecules. For example, this compound is an entity in which cobalt ion is surrounded by 3 ammonia molecules and 3 chloride ions. Okay, so this is an example here. In this I can say nickel is surrounded by 4 carbonyl ions, okay, or 4 carbonyl neutral atoms. Next term is central atom. Now as we have seen here, what is the central metal atom? When you write the formula in square bracket, okay, the atom which is at the very first position in the square bracket, it is called as a central metal atom, okay, from which the formula starts. So for in this case cobalt is the central metal atom, in this case iron is a central metal atom. Okay, so this is the central metal atom, which is basically they are D block elements, and this we have already learned in D and F block elements chapter. So this from most of them are from D block elements. Then ligands. Now this is very important term, and we have different types of ligands also. So now what are ligands? If you consider one formula, okay, let us consider this formula. Okay, this is central metal atom cobalt. So attached to this, whatever is attached to this central metal atom, they are called as the ligands. Now what are ligands? Meaning which compounds we can take as a ligands here. So ligands are the simple ions such as chlorine, water, ammonia. So basically they are neutral or anions, neutral molecules or anions. Now why we are taking anions or neutral molecules? Because we want electrons to form the bond. When we take anions, we have extra electrons, okay, with them. And also if you take neutral molecule, which now neutral molecule we can take only which are having lone pair. So water on oxygen we can get lone pair, and ammonia on nitrogen we can get lone pair. That's why we take this as the ligands. Okay, now see what happens when ligand is bounded. When the ligand is bound to the central metal atom through a single donor atom. Okay, now if I have this metal atom, okay, in general metal atom, and it is bounded to ligand through a single donor, meaning ligand is having only a single donor atom, then it is called as unidentate ligand. Okay, unidentate means it is forming bond through a single donor atom. Okay, only one atom is donating, so it is called as a unidentate. When a ligand can bind through two donor atoms. Now unidentate examples are chlorine, water, NH3, because they can bound through single donor atom. Then when the ligand can bind through two donor atoms, as in the case of this En, okay, that is ethylene diamine, ethylene 1,2-ethylene diamine or ethane 1,2-diamine, or oxalate, that is C2O4 minus. Okay, I can show here the structure of En. En is basically, when we write the formula, we write it as En, but this actual formula is H2N CH2 CH2 NH2. Okay, so how this can bind through two donor atom? Because here there is one nitrogen and here there is one nitrogen. Both the nitrogen carries one lone pair, which makes them to donate through two atoms. Okay, oxalate also same. Oxalate structure is this COO. So here we have C2O4, right? C2O4. So we have these two oxygen atoms which can bind. Okay, so that's why here we can bind through two donor atoms and form the bond, and that's why it is called as didentate. So when a ligand can bind through two donor atoms, as in case of EN or ethane 1,2-diamine and oxalate, ligand is said to be didentate. And when several donor atoms are present in the single ligand, several donor atom means many donor atoms, okay, more than 2, 3, 4. So that time it is said to be polydentate, and one of the important ligand here is ethylene diamine tetraacetate, which is called as EDTA. Okay, so here is the formula of EDTA, structure of EDTA, wherein we have this ethylene, then this 2N represents the diamine tetraacetate. So there are 4 acetate ions which represents the tetraacetate. Okay, so it can bind through 2 nitrogen and 4 oxygen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 donor atoms. That's why it is called as hexadentate ligand. Now, when a di or polydentate ligand uses 2 or more donor atoms simultaneously to bind a single metal ion, it is said to be a chelate ligand or chelate ligand. So when we have polydentate or didentate ligand and it uses 2 or more donor atom to bind, so they are called as chelate ligand. And number of such ligating groups is called as the denticity of the ligand. So our ethane 1,2-diamine, then EDTA, then oxalate, they come under this chelate ligand. Okay, and these complexes, they are more stable than the other complexes containing unidentate ligands. Okay, so that's why chelating ligands or these ligating groups, they are said to be more stable. Then ligand which has 2 different donor atoms and either of the 2 ligands in the complex is called as ambidentate ligand. Now this is another type in which we will have 2 donor atoms, but at one time we can use only one donor atom. Okay, that is we have 2 different donor atoms. So here we will see examples, through that we will understand ambidentate ligand. First example is NO2. NO2, okay, which is a nitro group, nitrate ligand. So this NO2 we can either bind through nitrogen of this group or we can bind through oxygen of this group. So that's why it is called as ambidentate, meaning at one time we can bind either of this, either from nitrogen or oxygen. And second example here is SCN, thiocyano group, so in which we can either bind through sulfur or we can bind through nitrogen. Okay, so that's why they are called as ambidentate ligand. So when we bind through N, in NO2 when we bind through N, it is called as N-nitrito, and when we bind through O, it is called as O-nitrito. And in thiocyano group or thiocyanato group, when we bind through S, it is called as thiocyanato, and when we bind through N, it is called as N-thiocyanato or isothiocyanate. Next very important term is coordination number. Coordination number is defined as number of ligand donor atoms to which metal is directly bonded. So this example, if I take PtCl6 2-, so how many ligands are attached to platinum here? There are 6 ligands attached to platinum, so coordination number is 6. In this case, wherein NH3 ammonium ion, they are attached, how many? 4. So that's why here coordination number will be 4. In this complex Fe, C2O4, C2O4 is an oxalate ion. There are 3 C2O4. Okay, so you will say that here the coordination number will be 3, but coordination number is not 3 here, it is 6. Okay, now reason is C2O4 is a didentate ligand. That means at once it can donate to 2 different donor atoms. Okay, so since it can donate to 2 different donor atoms, one atom can donate through one molecule can donate through 2 different donor atoms. There are 3 molecules, so 3 into 2 will be 6. So here coordination number will be 6. Similarly here, ethane 1,2-diamine or EN is a didentate ligand which can donate through 2 donor atoms. So that's why 3 into 2, 6. So here also coordination number will be 6. Then coordination sphere. Coordination sphere is whatever it is there, whatever ligand and metal atom is there in the square bracket, it is called as a coordination sphere. Then coordination polyhedron, it is basically the geometry of the compound. that is we have 5 types: octahedral, tetrahedral, square planar, trigonal, bipyramidal and square pyramidal. And among these we are only going to study octahedral, tetrahedral and square planar in this chapter. Then oxidation number of central atom. Oxidation number of central atom in a complex is defined as charge it would carry if the ligands are removed, okay, along with the electron pairs. So let us see how to find oxidation number. For that, first you should know oxidation number on some ions, okay. So if I consider a simple PtCl6, okay, if I consider this one PtCl6 or PtCl4 2 minus, okay, then here I have to find the oxidation number of this central metal atom. So I will consider that as X, okay. So X plus, I have to write the oxidation number of chlorine. Chlorine oxidation number is -1 because it is a halogen, and halogen, all halogens have basically this oxidation number -1. But how many chlorine we have? 4. So -1 into 4 is equal to, this will be -2. So it will be X minus 4, which is equal to -2. So X is equal to -2 plus 4. So X is equal to +2. Okay. This is how we find the oxidation state. For that, you should know the oxidation state of some of the important ions over here or ligands. So I will write over here all the halogens: fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. They have -1 oxidation state. Then ions such as CO3, then SO4, C2O4. These ions have -2 oxidation state. Then NH3, H2O, En. These are the stable ones which are having 0 oxidation state. Okay, so this important ions you should know charges on this ion. Yeah. Then we will move on. Okay, and last concept here, homoleptic and heteroleptic. Now homoleptic complexes means what? In which there are only one type of ligands. So in this first one here, there is one example in which we have formula CONH3 6. That is homoleptic. Now why it is homoleptic? Because it is having all ligands of same type. But if you see this one, in this there are 2 types of ligands. Amine are 4 and chlorine are 2. That's why it is called as heteroleptic ligand. Then we will move on to the nomenclature of coordination compounds. So for nomenclature there are some rules. So first of all, formulas of mononuclear coordination entities. How to write the formula? Central atom is listed first. Okay, in the square bracket, central metal atom is listed first. Ligands are then listed in the alphabetical order. Means after central metal atom you can put the ligands. Placement of ligand in the list does not depend on its charge. Meaning you can put anyhow ligands, it will not depend on the charge. Polydentate ligands are also listed alphabetically, and in case of abbreviated ligand, the first letter of abbreviation is used to determine the position of the ligand in the alphabetical order. Meaning, if you have, in case of abbreviated ligand, meaning if you have the certain name for that ligand, first letter of the abbreviation is used to determine the position of the ligand in the alphabetical order. Then formula of the entire entity, whether charged or not, is enclosed in the square brackets, and when ligands are polyatomic, their formulas are enclosed in parentheses. So ligand abbreviations are also enclosed in parentheses. There should be no space between the ligands and the metal within the coordination sphere. And when the formula of charged coordination entity to be written without that of counter ion, charge is indicated outside the square bracket. You will understand this when we will take some examples. Okay. Then about naming, first rule is cation is named first and then anion is named. So ligands are named in an alphabetical order before the name of the central metal atom. That means central metal atom is listed last in the name. Then name of the anionic ligand end with O. So if you have chlorine, it is chlorido. If you have cyano group, it is cynato or cyno. Those of neutral cationic ligands are same except for aqua. Aqua is for water, amine is for NH3, carbonyl for CO, and nitrosyl for NO. These are the neutral and these are the neutral ligands. Then prefixes mono, di, tri are used to indicate the number of individual ligands. And if you have in ligand, if you have the name such as di, tri is there already in the name of the ligand, then you can use the term bis, tris or tetrakis. Then oxidation state of the metal ion in the cation, anion or neutral coordination is indicated by Roman numeral in parenthesis. Okay. Now we will see the naming. We will take one example. We will take this example, CrNH3 okay, CrNH3 H2O3 Cl2. First of all, we need to understand that you have to split them into two parts. Okay, whenever we have such cases. So the square bracket which is there, you have to put it separately, and the other ion which is there outside the square bracket to put it separately. So basically the whatever is written first in the formula, meaning here square bracket is first, so that will have positive charge, and whatever is written afterward, that will have negative charge. Okay, so from this we will find the charge of this square bracket, overall charge. Chlorine, 1 chlorine is having -1, so 3 chlorine will have overall -3 charge. Since 3 chlorine are having -3 charge, this whole square bracket will have +3 charge. Okay, so this bracket overall charge will be +3. So how to find now the charge of chromium here? We need to know the charge of chromium. So first of all, we will take chromium as X, then NH3. NH3 is neutral, so it is 0, plus water is also neutral, so it is 0, which is equal to 3. So X will be also equal to 3. So chromium is having +3 charge. How to name this? We have to see first ligands. Here amine is the ligand, water is the ligand. How many amine are there? 3. Water also 3. So amine and aqua are the name which we have to take for ligand. Amine, from this two, amine and aqua, what to name first? According to alphabetical order, A, M comes first. That's why we will write amine as the first. How many amine are there? Triamine. So the name will start with triamine. Then how many aqua? Tri. So triamine, triaqua, and then metal, central metal atom, that is chromium, and charge on the central metal atom is +3. So 3 chloride. Then complex ion inside the square bracket is cation. So amine ligands is named before the aqua ligand according to alphabetical order. So similarly, we will see the second compound in which we have CO, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2 thrice along with SO4 thrice. So here we have central metal atom as a cobalt, and this group which is attached is also called or also given as En, okay, which is not shown here, but otherwise it is shown by this En. Okay, so I will write the formula here, CO, En, how many En are there? 3. Okay, CO, En, 3, 2, and SO4, 3. Now why it is written in this way? We will find the reason for that. See, SO4. SO4 is having what charge? SO4 is having what charge? -2. Okay, SO4 is having -2 charge here. Okay, so if you consider this charge as +2. Okay, if I consider this, see, okay, yeah. So according to the IUPAC nomenclature, what happens? The charge is not balanced between the sulfate and this cobalt and ethane 1,2-diamine. So what happens? To balance the charge, like how we do in electrochemistry, if the charge is unequal, we multiply it oppositely. Like if there is 3 over here and here there is 2, okay, then we multiply. Here there is 2 and here there is 3, then we multiply this by 3 and this by 2. Same thing is done here. Here the charge is -2, that's why here it is multiplied by 3, and here it is +3, so it is multiplied by 2. Okay, so from this we got the charge. So we will find the charge of cobalt here. So SO4 is -2, no, -2 into 3 is overall charge is -6. So this overall charge will be +6. Okay, so we will take CO as x plus 0 is equal to +6, but there are two this molecule. Okay, so that means 2x we will take, so x is equal to 6 by 2, which is 3. So that's why on cobalt there will be charge +3. Now name, since this En is there, En name is ethane 1,2-diamine, so in that name only we have di. That's why prefix used here is tris, because here there are 3 En, so tris, it will not be tri, it is tris ethane 1,2-diamine, then directly cobalt, the charge on cobalt 3, and then sulfate. Then next is diamine silver dicyanoargentate. Here also we can directly write the charge on this. So in this basically this is a cation, this is a anionic part. So diamine silver, directly we can write diamine silver, and since amine is 0, this will have 1 charge, and dicyanoargentate. Now whenever we have anionic complex means on complex there is negative charge, suppose, then what we do while writing the metal name, okay, central metal atom name, we write ATE. Okay, like this is silver, now we cannot write silverate, so we take Ag name, that is argent, we take the dicyanoargentate, and 1 is the charge on that. Okay, let us try this one. Tetraamine aqua chlorido cobalt chloride. Tetraamine means how many amine we have? First of all, NH3 4. Aqua means only one water molecule. Aqua chlorido means 1 Cl. Okay, I will write it properly here. Tetraamine. So first of all I will see what is the central metal atom. It is a cobalt, so in square bracket I will write cobalt. Tetraamine means NH3 4, then 1 water molecule and 1 chlorine. Okay, and then chloride. Now overall charge on this complex is +3. Okay, so this is +3, so this should be -3, and we know that chlorine is -1. So to if you want -3 on this side, then this Cl should be 3. So you can write Cl3 over here. Then next question, potassium hydroxidozincate. Okay, this one. So potassium is the counter ion which is outside the square bracket. So potassium, then tetrahydroxo. Hydroxo means OH group. Okay, so tetrahydroxo means OH4, and zincate means zinc. So zinc OH4, and since this is a positive, potassium is positive since it's a metal atom, so this will have negative charge, but how much negative charge, that we have to see. Tetrahydroxozincate, on zinc there is +2 charge. Okay, and OH -1 charge is there, so I can write 2 plus -1 into 4 is equal to, so 2 minus 4 is equal to -2. So here this is charge -2, and here there will be +2. So that's why here K2 will come, K2ZnOH4, because one potassium is having +1 charge. This is how we write the name. Okay, we write the formula. Then if the formula is given, how to write the name. So let us consider this one, PtNH3 twice ClNO2. Okay, here the central metal atom is platinum, and these all are ligands. Okay, from ligands we have to choose which to write first. So NH3 2 means this is amine, then chlorido, and this nitrito. So amine we have first A, then C, and then N. So we will write diamine, since there are 2 amine, diamine, chlorido, nitrito N, why it is written? Because this nitrito group is attached to platinum through N bonding. That's why it is N platinum 2. Okay. Then 2, it is a charge on platinum which is found through the same method. Okay, so this is how we can write the names of the compound. Then next is isomerism in coordination compounds. First of all, stereoisomerism. Okay, now stereoisomerism is according to 3D stereochemistry. So in that we have two types of isomerism, geometrical and optical isomerism. We will see what is geometrical here. Now this type of isomerism arises in heteroleptic complexes. Why heteroleptic? Because in heteroleptic there are different ligands. So let us see example of this. Triamine dichlorido platinum. Okay, so here we have, sorry, diamine, it is diamine dichlorido platinum. Here we have two types of arrangement of this compound. So in which platinum, first arrangement we can put the NH3 group adjacent to each other as well as chlorine, and in second arrangement NH3 are opposite to each other as well as chlorine. So in the arrangement in which they are opposite to each other, it is called as trans arrangement, and the arrangement in which they are adjacent to each other, it is called as cis arrangement. Okay, so this is cis and trans. Similarly, of octahedral compounds we can see they are placed this way, like chlorine are adjacent to each other and ammonia are adjacent to each other in this way, and they are opposite, okay, cross to each other, so they are called as trans. Okay, here also we can see cis and trans arrangement in which ethane 1,2-diamine, they are adjacent to each other and both the chlorine are adjacent to each other. Similarly here ene are opposite to each other and chlorine are opposite to each other. That's why it is called as a trans arrangement. Okay, so this is the trans and cis arrangement of this one. Now one more geometrical isomerism occurs in octahedral type, that is facial isomer. Okay, now what is this facial isomerism? If three donor atoms of the same ligands occupy adjacent position, that means C. If all the NO2 group are adjacent to each other and other three donor atoms are the next phase. Okay, so at the corners of the octahedral phase, then we have facial isomer, and when positions are around the meridian of the octahedron, it is meridional isomer. So this is facial because they are adjacent to each other. All the three donor atoms are adjacent to each other, and here also, and here they are not adjacent but they are meridional. Okay, that's why there are two, facial and meridional, which we can see in octahedral type of compounds. Okay, so this is the first part of coordination chemistry, in which we have covered nomenclature and some important terms, and along with that isomerism, two types of isomerism. In next part I will be doing other isomerism, structural isomerism, in which we will study 4 types, and along with that very important theory, valence bond theory of coordination compounds, as well as ligand field theory. Okay, so yeah, and after that we will be covering 2-3 questions from that also. Okay, and one video in which we will be covering the previous year questions from this chapter, which are very important and very easy to solve if you understand. Okay, so with this I finish my video, and I will cover the next part. Okay, in that I will be covering everything which will help you to solve in the exam. Okay, thank you.